this is Megan.
And this is Mark.
Welcome to our 20th video of the Stars Link construction at Disneyland. Today is March 4th, 2018.
Today we can see that more mesh forms have been added to create rock formations. This is what it looked like last week, and I'll dissolve the picture back to what it looks like now. Notice the space between the form segments. Workers will continue to weld the segments to minimize the gaps. And this is important because the forms have to be closer together without the space between them before the concrete can be added. Here we are on Tom Sawyer Island looking at the form segments from the other side. Here's what it looked like last month, and this is what it looks like today. Next, we'll go on the Matterhorn to see this area from that perspective. In the distance, you can see the newly added forms that are on top of the Battle Escape show building. This is what it looked like last month, and I'll dissolve back to what it looks like now.
Today is March 8th, 2018.
Workers are in the process of putting up a railing on top of the steel decking. The worker in the middle is cutting a hole in the steel decking with a torch, and this will allow the bottom of the rail to be connected to the decking. Now the railing is in position, and the workers are welding it into place. Now looking above these workers, another worker is applying a protective coating to a beam. And this coating will provide a corrosion protection so the steel doesn't oxidize to produce rust. Looking on the ground level, workers are installing electrical conduits in a trench. If you look closely, these workers are adding a solvent cement to an end of a conduit. Now they're attaching the end to another conduit piece. Sliding to the right a little bit, workers are transferring what appears to be some sort of base with rods extending out of them. In this package, there are 4 total located on their side, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. They're transporting them to the Battle Escape show building. Next, they're transferring a second set. This time, there are 6 bases. 3 that are located on the side on the left, and 3 on the right. All right, they're putting them in the show building. If we look at the side building, we can see that a bag of insulation has been brought in. This is sound control insulation, which will be placed between the metal studs. Not only is this type of insulation used for sound control, but it also helps in temperature control. On top of the battle escape, workers are continuing to weld mesh forms together. Next, we'll go on Tarzan's treehouse and observe the opposite side of these forms. They're welding on this side as well. Sliding to the right, we can see that a new beam structure has been made behind the trees in the distance. I'll go ahead and zoom in. This structure can be recognized on the Star Wars model. And the structure is right here. Next, a crawler crane is lifting building framework for the village area. And here's some more. These appear to be a cluster of struts for a beam structure. And the main purpose of a diagonal strut is to give additional strength to the beams that are attached to them, basically helping distribute the weight load. The struts are being lowered. Now a crane is lifting another beam. Notice that part of this beam structure has a slight curvature to it. It's being lowered into position. Let's look at the Star Wars model and see what this structure will look like once it's completely finished. I believe this building in the village area will be part of the cantina. Here's some concept art that Disney put out of the bar that's located inside the cantina. It looks really incredible. I can't wait. Now we're on Big Thunder Trail at the tunnel entrance, the one that's closest to Fantasyland. And we'll go ahead and peek through the fence. Alright, we can see that a metal framework is being installed on the sidewall of the tunnel entrance. We'll look at the model and see what this area will look like once it's completely finished. Now we're on the Disneyland Railroad, and on the other side of the truss bridge in the distance, we can see where the cave area is going to be. We'll go ahead and watch it in slow motion. I'll pause the picture right here. Notice this concrete column highlighted in yellow. We'll go to the Star Wars model to see where this column will be located in relation to the caves. The column will be located approximately here. Let's move over just a little bit. Alright, from this angle we can see where the cave opening is going to be. And I'll dissolve this part of the picture to the model so we can visualize what the cave will look like once it's completed. We have another great view of the area right here.
Today's March 17th, 2018.
A worker in the center of the picture is using a high-pressure water hose wand. He's using the hose wand to remove the loose particles and debris from the concrete surface. And removing the loose particles is important before the second layer of concrete is added, so the two concrete layers will adhere to each other better. Next, we'll go on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. If we look on the side of the Millennium Falcon show building, a side structure is being made. Let's get a closer look. This side structure can be recognized on the model. We'll see it develop more over time. Alright, moving along, we can see that metal studs have been added to the tower side structure of the Millennium Falcon show building. Here we are on the Disneyland Railroad, and we'll peek on the other side of the truss bridge to see how it's changed since we saw it last. Mesh forms are being installed. We'll go ahead and watch it in slow motion. I'll pause the picture right here and point to the mesh forms. Next, we'll go to the parking structure and view these forms from the other side. And there they are. Now if we slide to the left, we can see that the area where waterfalls will be on top of one of the caves is becoming more defined. Let's get a closer look. Here we can see the metal beams and struts to create the rockwork. Also, if you look closely, it appears that there's a water pipe, possibly to supply water for the waterfall. And to the left of the pipe, there's a slit in the wall. More than likely, this is where the water will travel. We'll go ahead and view the waterfall on the model. Now if we slide to the left, we can see that more beams have been added to the top of the side building of the Battle Escape. I'll go ahead and number the different locations of beams so we can compare the locations to the model. Here on the model, we can see the locations 1 and 2.
Today is March 24th, 2018.
Workers are continuing to weld forms together on top of the Battle Escape. If we look to the right a little bit, a crawler crane is lifting an air handler to the top of the building as well. Here it is being lowered. Looking to the right a little bit, the beam structure on top of the side building is really taking shape. To the right of the beam structure, stacks of material have been brought in. Let's get a closer look. These stacks are geofoam, also known as expanded polystyrene, EPS for short. And I've also heard them referred to as EPS foam blocks. And it's cool that the unique properties of this closed cell foam plastic is super lightweight and compressive resistant. Geofoam has many specific advantages for being put under the soil. First of all, being only 1% of the weight of soil, it gives the stability to the ground, and it's great for stress distribution. Also, when these blocks are put in position, it'll help eliminate the chances of ground settling. Now we're back on the Disneyland Railroad, and we'll see how things have changed from this perspective. It looks like more mesh forms are in place. We'll watch it in slow motion. I'll go ahead and pause the picture. We can see the top of one of the cave openings. And this is what it'll eventually look like. Next, we'll go on Donald's boat in Mickey's Toontown. Here we can see that a crawler crane is lifting some more of the Millennium Falcon hallway panels to be put inside the show building. The panel segments are being lowered into one of the top openings of the building. Next, some more hallway segments are being lifted. Notice the hole on the top panel. This will more than likely be for one of the lights, as seen in this picture. Also notice that one of the segment panels is missing. It is possible that this area will be used to put equipment in the wall, such as this monitor. And now it's being lowered to be put in the show building. Here's some more being lifted. Alright, here's another one, and this one's a little different. It has a row of 5 holes for the lights. Now they're being lowered to the show building. Well, that's a taste of things to come.
We can't wait to see what they'll build next.